Hello, future students. This is Mr. Reich, and today we are going to talk about relative location. Relative location is a point or place in relation to another point or place. So, for example, if someone in New York was to ask where Michigan was, and you happened to be right there, and you said, "Well, I can tell you, Michigan is just west of New York." This would be an example of giving relative location. Uh, It differs from absolute location because you're not giving the exact coordinates, latitude and longitude coordinates of that location. So what we're going to be doing now is I am going to show you the relative location of the five Great Lakes in relation to the states around it.
So here's our map of the five Great Lakes, which are Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, Lake Huron, Lake Erie, and Lake Ontario. And we're going to be using this compass right here, north, east, south, west, to determine the relative location of each lake. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at Lake Michigan. And I'm going to draw a person right here. And this person right here would say that Lake Michigan is just west of their location. That would be the relative location of Lake Michigan for this person. Now, a person in Wisconsin would say that Lake Michigan is just east of their location. So you can tell that the relative location of the person in Michigan and the person in Wisconsin are very different. They're actually opposite. The next lake we are going to talk about is Lake Superior. Now the same thing goes for the person in Michigan and the person in Wisconsin this time. They would both say that Lake Superior is north of their location, or north of Wisconsin and north of Michigan. The next lake we are talking about is Lake Huron. The person in Michigan would say that Lake Huron is northeast or north, depending on how you view that. I don't know. And the person in Wisconsin would say that Lake Huron is east of Wisconsin or east of their location. Lake Erie. Lake Erie, the person in Michigan would say that the relative location of Lake Erie is east because it is east of their location. Now, the person in Wisconsin would say that the relative location of Lake Erie is southeast. As you can tell, the person is up here. Lake Erie goes southeast, as you can tell on our compass right here. It goes right down here. And last but not least, Lake Ontario. The person in Michigan would say that Lake Ontario, there's the person right there, who's going up and over to the right, would say that it is northeast of their location or northeast of Michigan. The person in Wisconsin, on the other hand, would say it is east, or if you're going to be really technical, you would say southeast, just because it has a slight downslope. But for the most part, it is east. So the person in Wisconsin would say that the relative location of Ontario is east of Wisconsin. And that concludes our lesson on relative location. Thank you and good night.